What's happening, everybody? God bless you all. For all of us here in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving Day. I hope all of you guys had a wonderful time with your family. Stuff yourself with some good turkey, mashed potato with gravy, corn on the cob, you know what I'm saying? Some sweet potato pie, or maybe some pumpkin pie. What else? Some stove tops. Mm-mm-mm. All that goodies. But as for me, I'm stuck here at my job site because of quarantine. We're starting early here, but also as an essential personnel, got to be here running the plant. So I'm just here in my little trailer for the next 8 weeks. Yes, even gonna be here for Christmas. Sometimes you just gotta make those tough sacrifices for now. But anyways, reason why I'm here, because I just want to share my thought from earlier this morning, um, as I came across Dr. Yasir Qadhi's, I would say his rebuttal against Jay Smith, Daniel Brubaker, pretty much everybody that's been talking about from his last interview. But I just want to share my thoughts because things that kind of like, I just felt bothered, even for us as ex-Muslims, even the time as a practicing Muslim, it's like the stuff that they talk about, it's like the issues are not addressed. The thing that bothered me the most, as always, when you have to belittle people like that, what, because of the academia, because you have to be in a certain stature. I mean, have you forgotten that God always looked things in the depthness of the heart? I'm sure, yeah, Yasir Qadhi is a good dude. I would say so far, out of everybody, at least he has someone that's approachable you can discuss, but of course, we all have some side that could be irritated, and I just want to share the part that I was kind of like irritated by, but I'm not gonna come in a way to attack, but I just want to come in a way just to understand from us, maybe they can see from away from God's eyes. I think it's wrong when you have to belittle people like that because of the academia. When some of these people, like Jay Smith, Daniel Brubaker, whom I just started to follow now since Jay Smith used to talk about his work back in the days. And when you hear a lot of these guys, many of us are here looking for answer. The main thing is that we want to know God. We want to understand the meaning of life. We want to understand the situation of the sinful battles that we go through. The thing that bothered me the most was that, as always, the argument is because nobody can speak Arabic. Well, heck, like half of the Muslim world don't know even Arabic, yet we're forced to read it. I mean, I can read and write Arabic. Do I understand what it means? No. I have to rely on the translation. The thing that I want to say is, that Yasir Qadhi, I don't know if you ever will come across my video, but I'm just coming in a humble way that I think it's wrong to talk down to people like that, because God can use anybody. I mean, Jesus chose 12 disciples who were just ordinary folks, but they literally changed the whole world, by them being obedient to God, obedient to the teaching, and that the Lord poured His Holy Spirit, and how their knowledge flourished. Even in the book of Acts, I believe some of the Pharisees, some of the Jewish people, they were like, wow, how do these people know so much? They almost speak like they're scholars. Because I believe as long we all educate ourselves, I mean, education is continuation. I'm just a humble man, I'm a man that served my country 15 years. And I love the feeling of being a servitude, something to be serving your nation, I always love that feeling when they feel appreciated for defending our freedom, and I still continue to learn. God willing, by the end of the year, as the year does come to an end, depending on how everything is going, I do want to start back school myself. I feel God put a heart in me to maybe go into the theology field. and the theology side, philosophy side, because I just feel like that's always been my calling. I love helping people, understanding people, especially when it comes for serving God. It never stops, we always continue to learn. And even if I don't have the time to go to school, I still will find a way to pick up a book, to read, to hear from others, because that's how we expand our mind. That's how we expand our knowledge and wisdom. And the thing that also bothered me too, like to call somebody like, just saying idiots and stuff like that. I understand you're frustrated with everything that was going on, but I would say the guys like, I listen to Jay Smith, Daniel Brubrick here. They're just coming with an honest assessment based on what it says. You could argue, okay, the whole argument we keep hearing from these guys, like that's supposed to solve everything. Okay, we have the translation. You're still defending it that nothing has changed. It's not the fact that, okay, you got the kiraat, the aruf, the way how it sounds and everything like that. I understand his point when he tried to use analogy with the British accent, how they say it, and with an American accent. But that's not the point, though. The point that as Muslims, as something that I grew up always listening, always hearing, that the Quran has never changed, that the Arabic language that we have today is precise. Nothing has changed. That is the whole argument, But now, there's 37 so far different writings within the Arabic writing. That's just my point. Maybe it might sound the same as people want to say, but that defeats the whole purpose when we're always claiming that it's perfect. Maybe if we're honest with ourselves, say, hey, it's not perfect. We're not saying that the Bible's has been perfect too, but we have everything that's been saved, everything what the prophets, the apostles wrote down and passed down. We know there wasn't God's directly writing it, but God uses people to write what they see, what they witness. That's what makes it authentic, what they see in eyewitnesses, To read something, everything from a first person point of view, it's like anybody can make that up, I mean, how many times have we read it? We bring it up to the Imam. Yasir Qadhi, you say, come to you guys, for if we have any questions. How many times I've gone to the leaders in my mosque, the imams or sheikhs. I got people just always give me the runaround, or just read these surahs, you'll be fine. Do these prayers, you'll be fine. Or if you tell them a tough question, Allah knows best. Allah knows some things you have to keep it. You just to pretty much put aside. But there's a reason why we have this hunger and thirst. And and many of the Bible and the writing, it gives us these answers that we're looking for. Especially when we come to Christ, when He explains everything of our life struggle. I mean, we all deserve to die. We all deserve death. But because of His grace and mercy and His love, He saved us. And when I understood the wisdom behind who God is, that nothing is too hard for Him. Nothing is too hard for Christ. Think about this. We talk about why He is called the Son of God. What makes that creation, what makes that type of creation that He came by so unique? Born in a virgin, using a human flesh, Mary, but without a father. Because when I think about it, when I the more I read the Word and prayerfully, understanding the wisdom behind it, it's just showed that there's nobody next to Him. God used Mary just for that purpose, for the coming. God said a long time ago, even before in the Old Testament prophets, of His prophesying coming, go through the suffering. But yet, He always left clues of who He was. Yes, when the first time He came, He has to speak in a way, humbling Himself, but gave clues of who He was. But the point to make is, I think that to know that He is God, He has to show the ultimate proof. That He said, okay, destroy this body. I will die, and 3 days later I will rise again. I mean, think about that. in order to show you the ultimate proof that he is God, that he cannot die, that he's saying in his own words and from the testaments that the apostles saw, that he said, I'm going to die, and 3 days I'll rise again. That is the ultimate proof to show that he is God, that nothing is too hard for him. And I pray that, that one day Yasir Qadhi can understand that. I'm pretty sure as a smart man like him, I'm pretty sure maybe deep inside he knows about that. But I just feel like, once again, it's wrong, you belittle people like that, belittle non-Muslims, these murtads that you like to call us. Why? Because you guys couldn't give the answer when we always ask it? Why is it many people are leaving? I mean, even if you never changed the book, even if the Quran was never changed, and the book that we read today, right now, it is still so many problems. Yasir Qadhi, how do you explain the people that's persecuting the non-Muslims under the Muslim rules? Can we be fair about that? Especially maybe, I'm pretty sure you're of Pakistani descent. In Pakistan right now, hearing reports of young girls being kidnapped and raped, does that not anger you? I haven't seen you come out and condemning these attacks. Why? Is that because perhaps in the book we know it's done like that? To treat those, to do whatever we want with non-Muslims when they have the upper hand? Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about the constant killing? If Islam is truly peace, why are we still seeing these attacks? Sure, you could bring up about the Crusades, you could bring about the New Zealand attack, even though that guy wasn't a Christian, just to get that out the way. We know evil things happen around the world because it goes back to the nature of sin. But the difference why Islam is unique, why people always bring up about these attacks, because it links back to the ideology that the religion promotes, that it's okay to do these things to advance the religion. Hasn't Muhammad said that? I mean, you can use that verse here in the West. There's no compulsion in religion. But who does that apply to? It's just apply for the Muslims because they're in the minority. When we see other passages of Surah 9 and many passages of Hadith that Muhammad mentioned that, I will not stop until everybody proclaims and follow Islam. If they convert, kill them. If they still, and until they believe, if they don't believe, like in Surah 9 it says, kill those and slaughter them because they don't believe. See, it makes a big difference with how the statement is written. Because you want to kill somebody for the sake of not believing. Don't we see that in the Middle East right now? How do we think Islam was spreaded? This is the kind of question that many Muslims probably ask those questions. I ask those questions. Sure, I'll get the same runaround. You're going to ask me, well, this was during the wartime. You might tell me that, right? I heard the same thing too. It doesn't change the fact when I read that passage, deep inside, even in my soul, it is not what it says. It says exactly what it needs to be done. Sure, I struggled too in my first year in the military. I was still a Muslim. It's like, what do I do? Do I defend my country? Do I defend the religion? Because I know what the book says. By law, I need to be by the Muslim side and defend. It was a struggle. But yet I was angry at the same time too. I was there when the 9/11 happened. That really changed my whole perspective to look deep into the faith. I come from that generation when the 9/11 happened. Many of these young folks might not know about it. That World Trade Center was near and dear to me. That was my childhood place to go hang out. That was my childhood to go down to the Hudson River during my stressful time just to sit there and watch over the skyline. When that thing was taken down, I was angry. I have people coming to me, is this what your Islam teaches? What do I say? Using the same thing what I was taught, that Islam is peace. It was a battle. I'm pretty sure everybody is going through that. You know, you can't just tell everybody that everybody's an Islamophobe. I think that's wrong to say that. If we look at the history of Muhammad, what he did, he was a phobia out of everything, against Christians, against Jews, against Yazidis, any other religion, if it wasn't his ways. How do you explain that? I mean, is that a think? I mean, I'm just being honest, Dr. Yasir. Isn't that an honest statement? How can we just tell everybody's an Islamophobe? Is that a cop out answer? It's just a cop out way not to answer the question. Knowing that for us, we've seen it. We know what was taught. We know the mindset, how we feel about non-Muslims. Why are you in this country then? Why are all of us in this country then? Why is that in our Islamic country that our parents came from? Why is there still a suffering out there? Perhaps the Bible lays it down is the reason why God made nations. It's the reason why the God puts his hand on each country's lives to see who's doing his will. Yes, our nation is far from being perfect. A lot of things are going on, but because there's a lot of believers, but because our system is based on the Judeo-Christian faith, it's because God's hand is right there protecting and leading. Sure, no government is perfect. No one is perfect. I put my trust in Christ Jesus when I think about his love, and I wish you could see that, Yasir Qadhi. I wish you could see the love, what he did for us. Look at it from a father's love. I'm sure you're a father. I'm a father also of 2 kids. I'm sure you would understand you'll do anything to protect your children. And even if they did messed up, there's something that God imparted in us to show grace and mercy. Sure, my kids, probably did some disrespecting things, ignorant, being disobedient. Kids will be kids. We discipline them, and at the same time show them love, show them mercy, why we're doing this, why we're punishing them. But God's mercy is, there's something about the mercy that if I could show that love to my children, how much more God can do for us. And another thing that I wanted to address it. It was just wrong in every level to belittle, just continuously belittling these guys that with the degree. Well, I felt like these people are doing better work than some of our own Islamic scholars. It's sad to say a lot of them just keep lying and hiding from the truth. Maybe it was God's will, maybe it was God's will to use you to finally expose some of the problems that we have in the Quran. Even though you might not know it, God works in mysterious ways, always. We can't change those facts, because that's not the whole point of the argument. It still didn't solve anything. You just, we're talking about the linguistic, what this word says this. It doesn't matter. What does it say about my life? How should I live? That's the problem. How they treat women. Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old. How do you address that? How do you address people doing today? How do you feel about that, Yasir Qadhi? I don't know if you have a daughter, and if you did, how would that feel if I come up to you, hey, based on the Quran, I guess your daughter's old enough now. Can I marry your daughter? Come on, see, right now I feel it in the spirit too. That's not the will of God, how he made us. I will get frustrated and angry. Can you imagine the suffering what Aisha went through? No child has to go through that. Are you hearing the cries what's going on in Pakistan? I don't know if you were born here in the States, or you were born over there, came here. I'm a descendant. I consider all 3 of them as my country, even though my parents are from Bangladesh. But they're all part of my ancestral home. I come from a Shah ancestry. I'm pretty sure you heard of it. Many of the Shahs and the Soyyuds. Some of the highly respected ones. And it seems like I broke that chain from my family. God, I know how prideful they are. I know how near and dear it is to carry that tradition. Excuse me, sorry about that. Because I know how it is to carry that tradition. But sometimes when truth comes, there's no way you can run away from it. As Jesus says, you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But I pray, Dr. Yasir Qadhi, that one day you will know the truth. As a smarter man as you are, maybe you know inside, maybe you know it, maybe you know something's not right, but of course you're dealing with all kinds of pressure in your surrounding. At the end of the day is we want to know God. We want the truth. And the only one that can tell you that is the Lord alone. God doesn't care about what kind of degree you have. If you have a Harvard graduate, you're not going to go in judgment day, well, God, I have this degree. That's not going to matter, guys. That's just the world standard. That's why the world is not good. As Jesus said, it is by His grace, His mercy, and love we are saved. All the degrees in the world ain't going to save you. But until we come to that point, humbling ourselves, crying out to God to know the truth, then you will know. You know, that's the thing that you have to explain. A lot of Muslims are just leaving left and right. The same questions that I've been asking this question, and nobody will give me the answer. I go, somebody telling me, don't worry, Allah understands it. Just read along. I remember many times when I ask a tough question, you cannot question Allah like that. So we just gotta ignore the fact what it says. Is that why we're just forced to read Arabic? Because it just sounds poetic. It's an easy way to ignore it. That's an unfair thing, Yasir Qadhi. It's very unfair. And they're just gonna ignore all the murtads. It's almost like you're just giving up on us. If you truly love God, sure, you can't force anybody, but you would at least be willing. You would be willing to share the truth, to win back somebody through God. Sure, we know there's many Christians that leave, that became Muslims. I'm not gonna go kill them. All I can do is pray for them. Keep sharing the word to them. Maybe they missed out on something. Every day is a continuous learning. Even though me leaving Islam, I still go back to the Quran. See something maybe I missed, look back to the Hadith. Now that I understand, for me, I understand where there's a problem. And that way we can put all the pieces together and see that a lot of it were plagiarized. That's why I came to my understanding. And I'm pretty sure many of us seen that. And historically, it seems like it has been plagiarized. That's what I just want to say. I just want to share my thought about what Yasir Qadhi talked about. You know, I'm not gonna talk down to you. I'm not that kind of person. Never was. I'm pretty sure I had my moments of frustration because of everything that's going on, and sometimes it's okay with righteous anger. But I just want to share that there's still a lot of issues, and the things that you brought up, it still didn't address it. That's fine, you know the linguistic, you know what it means. It doesn't change the fact what it's applying to my life. That's where it comes down to, where we see the problem. Until we see you guys address the issues with the persecution of non-Muslims, give them the freedom to even preach their words. And that's the problem with the Muslim country. Are we being a hypocrite about that too? So it's okay for everybody to come to the West to preach, but Christians, Jews, or even other religions can't do that? What are you afraid of? That's all I just want to say. It seems like Muslims always just want to have the competition to be the largest religion. Do you guys Is it our responsibility to tell them what to do or not to do? And even if they do leave, is that our responsibility to kill them, or is that God's responsibility? Think about that. How are we going to go for what Christ came for, and then by Muhammad coming in going everything backward, mixing a lot of things from the Old Testament, but making it 10 times worse? That's all I'm just saying, Dr. Yasir Qadhi. I don't know if you ever come across my video. I pray one day you'll just come across it so you could just understand how I'm feeling, so you can understand from us, coming from a Muslim background, what we see, what we struggle. Until this day, no answer is given. But you're doing the same thing from what I remember, just belittling people because you hold a higher standard. Isn't that what Jesus talked about too? To the Pharisees, the Sadducees? You think God was impressed with that? He said even the sinners, ordinary folks like them will go to heaven before them. But there's a hungerness and desire for them to know God. Something we have to watch what we become. We don't get too high and mighty because we think we know it all. But sometimes we forget about the heart issue where we are. So that's all I want to say. I pray everybody that you are blessed and help me share this. You know, hopefully Yasir Qadhi can come around here, the simple people. I want you to hear from the simple people. Even ordinary folks can do extraordinary things. God gave us the mind. As long as we keep using it, nothing will be too hard. Nothing will be too hard. Education never stops. We always continue to learn and grow. Amen. God bless you all. And I enjoy the rest of the night. If you're at the West Coast, look like it's getting late in the East Coast. You know, and enjoy those remaining days for Thanksgiving. Be thankful what God has done for us. Be thankful things that we enjoy. But let us not forget those that may not have everything, you know. Think about those people. Pray for them. If you see them in the corner somewhere, if you have a heart to, feed them, fellowship with them, pray for them. Amen. God bless you all. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.